Hello everyone, welcome to Sabka Gurukul, and today we are going to discuss about the second chapter from geography, that is globe, latitudes and longitudes. Before going to latitudes and longitudes, we have to discuss about globe. And today in our video we are going to cover globes, its axis and parallels of latitude, and under parallels of latitudes we are going to discuss about some very important latitudes. So let's jump into our first topic, that is globe. So what is a globe? Globe is a model of our earth. As it is not physically possible for us to locate places or to know more about earth, therefore we use a globe which is a model of our earth that looks exactly same as our earth. Therefore globes help us to know about lots of things. In a globe we can find seas, oceans, countries, continents, etc. Therefore globe is very much helpful for us. And globes comes in various sizes. It may vary from a very small pocket sized globe to a very big globe, but it is measurable for us. Now let's look at the next slide, which has a diagram of globe. Along with that we will go and discuss about axis. Without the diagram of this globe we cannot discuss about axis. As you can see, here we have a diagram of globe, and for explaining further about it we will have to move back to the explanation of globe again, so that it would be easier for all of you to understand it thoroughly. In this picture you can see on the left side we have our globe, while on the right side we have a picture of our earth. Also their shapes are exactly same. As we have known from our first chapter that even though our earth looks like a sphere, it is not exactly a sphere. Its shape is known as geoid, and geoid means that the top and bottom part of our earth is a little bit flat and the middle part of our earth is quite bulged out, and the globe exactly shows us this shape. Although in the picture it might not look like that, but in real life a globe is exactly like that. You can feel it when you touch the globe. Moving further into our diagrams, we can see that all the continents, countries and water bodies which are present in our earth is exactly shown in the diagram of our globe. Therefore, it won't be wrong to say that holding a globe in your hands feels like holding the earth itself. In the diagram, we have seen that the globe is attached to two needle-like things, and our globe is quite tilted. It's not in a very straight manner. The needles that pass through our globe is, the entire thing is quite tilted. So why does it happen, and what does this tilted manner of our globe represent? Now we will look at it through the same diagram so that we can move to our next topic, which is axis. And this axis is related to this tilted manner of our globe. So to explain what an axis is, we will be using this globe again. And as I have already said that there are two needle-like things which are attached to the top and bottom of the globe. These needle-like structure holds the globe in place. And now we can see that if we join these two needle-like things by drawing a line through them, we can see that this line we have drawn is not straight, it is diagonal. From this line we get to know that our earth is tilted or bent. The line which shows the tilted state of our earth by joining the top and bottommost parts is known as the axis, and our earth spins around this axis. But this particular line is not present, or it does not pass through our earth in the real form. Line is used as a help to explain how our earth is actually tilted. Now if we try to rotate our globe or move our globe, it spins, and that is how our real earth moves or rotates around its axis. And about rotation of our earth, We are going to know more in the coming chapters. And with that, we have completed our discussion about axis. Now we are going to move on to our last topic, that is parallels of latitude. So with that, we have come to the end of our discussion about axis. Now we are going to discuss about our third topic, that is parallels of latitude. So these parallel lines of latitudes that runs throughout our earth are actually imaginary lines. There are no such lines in real. Therefore, these parallels of latitudes are completely imaginary. So we are going to discuss more about these latitudes in our next slide, where I'll show you a diagram of parallels of latitude. Latitudes are imaginary horizontal lines that runs across our earth, and when you see a globe, you'll be able to recognize these latitudes very easily. In real life, there are no such latitudes that runs across the earth. Therefore, we cannot see latitudes around us. There are 180 degrees of latitudes, and these latitudes are parallel to each other, and that means that these lines do not touch each other or cross over each other. They are placed with equal distances from each other until on both upper and lower level they reaches towards the pole. Latitudes helps us in location of places, and we are going to know more about it when we will discuss about equator. Equator is one of the most important latitudes about which it is given in your chapter, and now we are going to discuss about it. Now we move on to the part where we told that we are going to discuss about some very important latitudes, and the first one that comes here is none other than equator. So what is equator? Equator is a latitude that runs exactly through the middle of our earth, due to which equator divides our earth into two halves. In this picture, we can see that the halves look like this. The upper one is known as northern hemisphere and the lower one is known as the southern hemisphere. We have already come to know that there are 180 degrees of latitudes. Now, if the equator divides our earth into two equal halves, it means that there are 90 degrees of latitudes in the northern hemisphere and there are 90 degrees of latitudes in the southern hemisphere. With that, we have come to know how equator divides the earth into northern and southern hemispheres. Now we are going to move back to the diagram where we have shown the equator, and we will get more details about equator. So again, in this diagram, we are going to look at equator, and we can see that the measurement of equator is 0 degree. It is 0 degree because it passes exactly through the middle of the earth, and it also divides all the other latitudes into two equal halves, which is 90 in the upper half and 90 in the lower half. Now, after equator, there are other few important latitudes for which you have to look at some other diagrams that describes all the other latitudes. So, in the next diagram, we are going to discuss about the other latitudes. We are basically going to name them, and then we are going to discuss about the degrees which are written beside them. So the first one is obviously equator, which is 0 degree. Then we are going to the top, that is Tropic of Cancer, which is 23.5 degree north. Then Arctic Circle, which is 66.5 degree north. And then lastly the North Pole, 90 degree north. Now again we are going to move back to equator, which is 0 degree, and then we are going downwards. The first one is the Tropic of Capricorn, which is 23.5 degrees south. Then Antarctic Circle, which is 66.5 degrees south, and the South Pole, which is 90 degrees south. Here you can see that all the numbers are same. For example, Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn both has 23.5 degree. But there is a difference, and that is in Tropic of Cancer, we have to write 23.5 degree north, or the letter N. This letter N represents that Tropic of Cancer is located in the northern hemisphere, and the letter S which we write in the Tropic of Capricorn represents that it is in the southern hemisphere. Therefore, we have to write the letter S after writing 23.5 degree. And again, the same thing goes to Arctic Circle and Antarctic Circle. Both of them has the same degree, that is 66.5 degree. But as Arctic Circle is in the northern hemisphere, it is 66.5 degree north, while Antarctic Circle is 66.5 degrees south. And North Pole and South Pole also has the same thing. North Pole is exactly 90 degree north and South Pole is exactly 90 degrees south. And this North Pole and South Pole are the ones which we have seen in the globe and through which that needle-like thing passes, or the axis passes through. So therefore we have got to the end of our important latitudes. In the next video, we are going to meet with the heat zones. Be using a completely different diagram for describing the heat zones, but today I'll just mention the name of those important heat zones about which we are going to discuss in our next video. So the first one is the torrid zone. The next one, when we move to the north, we will have north temperate zone. Then we will have frigid zone. And again, moving towards the south, the first one we are going to get is torrid zone. Then we are going to get south temperate zone, and then again we are going to get frigid zone, which will be in the near the South Pole. So we are going to discuss about them in details in our next video, and also we are going to discuss about the meridians of longitudes. And with that, we have come to the end of our video. In today's video, we discussed about globe. We got to know that globe is a model of our earth which helps us to see how earth looks like. Then we got to know that globes helps us to locate continents, countries, and it also shows us the water bodies. Then we got to know that the globe spins as we touch it or as we try to rotate it. Then we got to know that this globe is attached to two needle-like things which are known as axes. Also, we got to know that globes come in many sizes, starting from pocket-sized globes to big models of globe. Then we moved on to axis, and after we discussed about axis, we got to know that there are no such real lines in our planet. It is just there in the globe to show how the earth is tilted and how its movement occurs. And after that, we got to know about latitudes or parallels of latitude. There are 180 degrees of latitude. And after that, we got to know about some important latitudes starting from Equator, Tropic of Cancer, Tropic of Capricorn, Arctic Circle, and Antarctic Circle. I hope you guys understood very well, and I also hope that this video helps you to understand more about all these things while reading at your home. If you do not understand something, then please do not hesitate to ask us. We are always ready to help you, as I always say. So lastly, if you like this video, please tap the like icon, subscribe to our channel, and thank you so much for watching. We'll meet in the next video with heat zones of our earth and meridians of longitude.